Hello everyone, this is Ron. I'm going to talk about some Google Docs tips and tricks. Lots of information here, but hopefully it will be helpful for you. I first started using Google Docs about 2007, shortly after it came out, and there was a video that intrigued me at the time, and I'll post this under the YouTube video if you view this on YouTube. Okay, so first of all, we are working directly in a Google Docs file, and I can see the standard Google Docs menu items here. You can see some of these features, you can see your account, a lot of things here, and the menu here is not to be confused with your browser menu. So let's start with how to download a Google Docs file as a Word file or a PDF to your computer, because sometimes, of course, you would want to email it to someone as a Word file or PDF. So pretty simple, you just go to File and you do download. There's the Word one, there's the PDF one. And I'm going to do that. In my case, it goes to my downloads folder. And when I open my downloads, I can see that there it is. I've made some copies, so it made a copy back then and then a duplicate. This is the one that I just made. And when I open it, I can see that it's exactly the same format. Much of the time, it's the same. Occasionally you'll have some small changes, but so that's Word. Let's go back to the Google Docs. Enlarge it a little. In my case, for enlarging is Shift Command plus key. There are different shortcuts for that kind of thing, but let's talk about Word files in Google Classroom because I think it's important to understand that. I'm going to go to a sample Google Classroom that I have in my personal Gmail just for the purpose of tutorials and checking things out. And I'm going to go to the classwork page and create an assignment and just call it Word File Test. And I'm going to add a Microsoft Word file here from my computer, the same one that I just downloaded. And there it is right there. And you can see that it's a Word file by this designation. And I'm going to upload it to the homework. And we can see it's Word here. Now we have these commands, view only, students can edit. This does not work with Word. This works with Word, but they can't edit their individual copy, whereas they could with Google Docs. But I'm going to assign this to the people in that course. There's only 2 people, and they're both sample emails that I'm using. I'm going to open up one of them. So this is a student in that course. And I'm going to look at the classwork that the teacher just posted, and I'm going to see that the teacher attached a Word file to that homework. And I'm going to click on it, and it's view only. I can't edit it. I can't do anything with it. So that's how that works. Important to know that, view only. So let's go back to this. While we're here, I want to talk about the share feature of Google Classroom because it's important. I'm sorry, of Google Docs. Whoopsie, Google Docs. The share feature. So every Google document, whether it's the Google Docs or Google Slides, Google Sheets, everything has a share option. And I'm going to start a brand new one to show you what it looks like, and I'll just call it New Doc. And I'll just say this is a new doc for showing you sharing. So up here, the default setting is private only to me, and me means that account. And when I click on it, I can add people here, and I can give them the sharing levels that I want them to have. But remember, I'm the owner because I created the document. You also have some advanced, so for example, I could invite this person. That's another email that I have. And they would be notified by email, and they would have full privileges to edit the document. So you can share with anyone with a MWU account. I'm sorry, with a Gmail account of any kind, MWU, any kind of other Gmail. But one thing about sharing, by the way, sharing has also advanced levels. You can share something public on the web. Anyone with the link, no sign is required. No sign-in required. Regarding on the web, the document itself is indexed in Google search engine, so it technically could be found by searching. This one is anyone with the link can view it. They don't have to have they don't need to be signed in to Google to view it. The content of the document here is not indexed by Google search, so no one could actually find it unless they had the link. And then specific people is by email, which we just reviewed. Now each one of these has this feature, these options for permissions, so you can choose any of those. There's a lot more features here too, but those are the basic ones. So we're going to get out of that. I do want to mention something regarding sharing that's important to know. You cannot share from your MWU Google Docs to any Google account outside of MWU. That's important to understand. I'm going to go into my MWU account here, and I'm going to open up my Google Docs, and I'm going to create, this is a brand new one, and I'm just going to call it new. And I'm going to go to the share here, and I'm going to try sharing it with my personal Gmail. And when I do the send, whoops, you cannot share outside of Mukagawa Joshi Daigaku, which means Mukagawa Women's University, which means MWU.jp. So you can't share out, but you can share in. So if we go back here to this one, in my personal account, if I share with there it is, I share it, and I was able to do that. Now if I go back in here, which is my personal one, and I go to my main Google with MWU here, go to my Gmail, I can see that somebody shared this new one, this new Google Docs with me, and I can open it, and I am once again in my MWU account, and there I am. Thanks, Ron, for sharing this with me via. So now when I go back into my personal one, there's my personal one. I'm the owner, and I have that. Now regarding sharing, there's some other features. When you look at the people that you've shared it with, I've shared it with 2 other folks. I can make someone else the owner of the document. Currently I'm the owner, of course. I can even make this account the owner. And there's more features down here you can set for each person. You can limit editors, invited editors from changing access and adding new people. And you can disable some options. Okay, those are the basics of sharing. It's important to know. Now, a strategy for creating Google Docs. I've been using it for a long time. I learned early on about this, and I always create my new Google Docs in my personal account, and then I share it with my MWU account, because the ownership will remain with me even when I leave MFWI. Because when we all leave MFWI, our MWU account is removed, i.e. deleted. So if you create it in your MWU account, you're gonna have to manually, prior to your departure, one by one download them as like Google, like as a Word file or something. I hear that the admin will help you in Japan with that if you have dozens and dozens of docs and different files, and you ask the admin in Japan, I've been told that they would help you with the transfer. It's a manual transfer on their end. Okay, regarding add-on functionality in Google Docs, every Google Docs menu has this, and you can add extra add-ons, which are pieces of software that have specific functionality, and they're generally free, and there's a whole bunch of them related to spelling, doing diagrams, chart. This one I have installed so many, and they're all approved by Google. Now in the case of add-ons for MWU, now this is my MWU account, add-ons are here, the menu item is here, but when I go into it, and for example, if I want to add that to my Google Docs, it will say install disabled by admin, because the MWU admin in Japan does not allow this for whatever reason. So, however, in my personal Gmail, if I use one of these, whether it's a spell check or a bibliography creator or whatever, formatting of some kind, templates, the results of the add-on would appear in the document, in the case of a bibliography here, in the case of a spell checker with better spelling or grammar or different formats. And then when I share that with when I share that document with MWU, the results would be here. So that's how that would work. It's important to understand that. Let's go back here. Google Docs has revision history features that I'm going to review now. Of course, there's the undo and redo command. You've seen those in Word, and they're here as well. But Google Docs also has this version history where you can see the entire history of the document, even if it goes way back. So you can see when it was created and the edits that were done on this day. I can see the edits. I can restore to a previous version, or I can just copy some text that I want from a previous version onto my clipboard and then go back to my original and paste. So that's an important feature. If you share a document with another collaborator, another Gmail person, their edits would show up and their name would show in the revision history, so you would see who did it. They're actually color-coded for each collaborator. Okay, let's continue. The web browser that we're looking at now, your web browser on your laptop or desktop, it's important to understand that the menu items, which we can see here, whenever you resize your screen, or whenever your screen is resized, note this area right up here as I resize to smaller and smaller. So you'll note that there's 3 dots, which means more. That means they're stacked now. and I can even go smaller and smaller, and everything is responsive, which that's the term used in the tech world, responsive to size. So even on a small screen like an iPhone or Android phone, it would look really good. And that the 3 dots means there's more options here. So that's the meaning of responsive. Let's continue here. Google Docs has wonderful apps for full-featured apps for Android and iOS iPhones. So generally, they're really good for viewing and doing some minor editing. But with students, I encourage them for their paragraph composing to use a full-size keyboard. But these docs are good for just general edits and viewing especially. And of course, Google Docs is automatically upgraded on your browser. You don't have to worry about it. You're always using the right current version. Okay, let's now talk about the comment features in Google Docs. Google Docs has very sophisticated ability to have others comment on your document. So I'm going to share this document, currently it's only to me, with another one of my personal Gmails, and that person will be notified, and I'm going to give them, you have different levels that you can give them. I'll give them this, which includes comment as well. And we're going to send that to that person, go into that account, check the email, and then I can see that I received an invitation, and we're going to open that. So now I'm in this account, and I've been invited to that document by another user, and I can click on anything, and I can add a comment here, like just a little, can you explain this again? Teachers, this is a good place if you're doing student writing here. You can put comments regarding specific places in the student's document. And so the owner of this document will receive this message within the, so I'm back to the owner now, and when I see that there's a highlighted section, and I can see who the username who did it, and I can see the comment front and center here. And resolve means when I click resolve, it goes up into this comment history area. It's no longer front and center, but it's accessible here. All the comments would be accessible, and then I can deal with it however I would need to deal with it. So that's the comment feature in Google Docs. Very useful for grading papers, for making comments on student writing. So useful. Thank you very much for listening.